And so here it is, the Bird Nest National Stadium. That particular clip was taken on 2nd September 2024, just a few days after I arrived in the Chinese capital. It was the first time that I saw the Bird's Nest National Stadium with my own eyes, after previously was only seeing it on TV during the 2008 Beijing Olympics. Who would have thought that 15-year-old boy, who was just introduced into watching diving, weightlifting, and a few other unfamiliar sports, would finally set his foot in the city? And not in a short period of time, that is, but 16 years after he saw the games. Here's the story. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Ari. I'm an MBA student of Guanghua School of Management at Peking University, and I'm currently trying to build my own YouTube channel. So you can support me by hitting that subscribe button. This is my second English video, and this time we're gonna be talking about Beijing. Initially, I was planning to make it as my second video, but some demands from a few people regarding the process of my scholarship and university application has made the production of this video to be pushed back to a later date. I'm not sure if I should call it manifesting, and I'm not sure if what I did was indeed a manifestation, but let's break it down. As you know from my first video, I love geography. I knew that Beijing is the capital of China since I was probably in the second or third grade of elementary school, but it was not until 2008 that my interest towards the capital city started to increase. I still remember that when the Olympic was held, I was in the junior high school. The opening ceremony was held on 8 August 2008, symbolizing the infinity, which is very fitting with the Chinese philosophy that loved the number of 8. I don't know how, but it seems that the universe has conspired to make Beijing to be the host of that particular Olympics. But anyway, the not so little Ari at the time was so captivated by the grandeur of the games, particularly by the stadium behind me. Previously, I was never a big fan of architecture or building, but it all changed after the Beijing Olympics. I did not take architecture or civil engineering in my undergrad, but my fascination towards buildings remains the same. And so, the child in me keeps this little dream of, I want to see the Bird's Nest National Stadium. But at the time, the idea of going to China and see the stadium in person was only a fraction of my imagination, because none of my family members have gone outside of West Java, apart from me, let alone going abroad. So, the dream was rather hard to reach for my younger self, I'd say. The closest interaction that I had with Beijing was one of my organic chemistry classes was cancelled because our professor had to attend a science conference in the city. I knew it because I remember I made a Facebook post about it, and after a bit of searching, I was able to track down that the conference that she attended was this one. And to my surprise, I just knew it a few days ago that there is a YouTube video of her presentation. And that was it. No, I'm kidding. Actually, I'm not. Let me talk about it. That was the only time during my university years, or even in the span of a decade, of the 2010s, where I had a connection with Beijing. I don't remember what started it, but I knew that that time my mind was so focused on Finland. If we were to ask Ari during those years, which university do you want to go for a master's degree? Then he would confidently respond, the University of Helsinki. The reason for it was because I was so introverted at that time, and I read somewhere that the Finns are some of the most introverted people on the planet, and so I figured that it would suit my personality really well if I could visit the country and live there. But that never happened. The idea of studying in Finland slowly faded away. After I started my Mandarin journey in November 2019, I somehow shifted my mindset to China. I want to travel to China, I want to explore the country, and so on. But again, that time I didn't aim for Beijing. If people were to ask me what would be the first city that I want to visit should I really go to China, then my answer would be Shanghai, not Beijing. I even made a video about it when I was in Shanghai last year. Let me show you. A few years ago, one of my friends asked me about the first city in China that I want to visit, and my answer was Shanghai, simply because I love the name, I love how it sounds. Yeah, that's like the only reason. It wasn't really the case for me this time around, because when I finally had the chance to visit China for the very first time, the first city that I was able to visit was Beijing. But I guess it's not really a big problem anymore, because yeah, in around a month after I arrived in China, I finally able to pay a visit to the city of Shanghai. So yeah, here I am. So when did I really start to manifest Beijing, you ask? I don't remember exactly, but a few years ago, maybe around 2022 or 2023, I started this habit of self-talking, but I wasn't alone. So basically, I had this imaginary conversation involving three different people where the two of us were in a call and the other one is being mentioned. So for the record, the persons that I had in mind at the time were two of my coworkers. And surprisingly, we were not working on the same team and we were not even that close. They are Lucas Tang and Henry Lim. Both are Malaysians and both are from the Chinese team. And at that time, they've both already become a team lead while I was still a quality support analyst or QASA. But in this imaginary conversation, I've also already become a team lead myself. We'll get back to it in a bit. The setting always starts with me sitting or standing inside a relatively empty train in Jakarta. It's quite clear that the time was not in rush hour. And then I receive a call from Lucas, who asked me about a particular task. I don't know what was it. I didn't make the conversation to be so detailed, but I mentioned to him that I already sent everything in the endorsement email and that I've endorsed the task to Henry. And then I said, oh, I won't be available next week because I'll be going to Beijing. And that's it. I didn't know why I positioned myself as a team lead, and I didn't know why I chose them in the first place. Maybe because I've learned some Chinese and I subconsciously chose them. And maybe because I also wanted to be a team lead myself, which I did a few months before I left the company. But one thing for sure is that among all those fragments in the conversation, the last phrase is the one that I frequently rewind inside my mind. Maybe it kind of commands the universe to direct me to come to Beijing, or maybe it's the universe's way of showing its signs. But either way, one thing that I know is that in less than 5 years since I started that imaginary conversation, I've managed to fulfill one of my dreams of coming to Beijing and see the Bird's Nest National Stadium. So, what do you think?